where the mole is emerging out of the wood, sorry, out of the soil, we want to push it back here like this and make quite a strong edge and a rounded edge here. So this isn't a hard edge, this is soil coming up and over. So you can see that we do need to take this quite a bit into there. So get the main shape. So the mole will go down there. We'll make a little divot in there so that we can see the mole and the hill behind it. Let's look at this paw here. We're going to have to come in here. This is the wood in between here. But obviously we're going to go very deep if we're not careful. So what I'm going to do is take the whole claw back around here. And put a face on it here. So you can see again the mole is going to have to come behind that claw, the pair there. So let me redraw that. Perhaps I might make that so big. Something like that. Okay, then it's a matter of taking some of this wood in between, a bit like this. I've started with my V tool. Like that. And of course, thinking about this has to come over there, so this soil will have to come down below because this, I want to get this effect of this paw coming over. And also this one, of course. If anything, I'm going to make that a bit fatter, those claws, so we don't have so much wood to take away. Then the best tool to use is something like this. This is a front bent, a short bent, or a spoon gouge. So it's a number 3 with a skew on the end. So it's really a skew chisel, very, very flat skew chisel, and you get them left and right. And so you can come in, depending on which way the grain is going, you can come in, I think it's probably this way, like this. It's a perfect tool for doing this sort of work. You see, you can get right in there. And then you can just clean that up. So what I'm trying to do is get quite a hard edge around these claws, so they're quite strong. Let me take a little bit of this paper off, you can see what's happening here better. And then really what I want to do is angle one side of it like this. So it's angling, we angle this side. So we've got a bit of a step. Set that in. Back to your little tools. I think it was this direction. So we're looking for nice deep shadowing there, but these tips want to be fairly light because they're short grain, so don't make those too high, in fact keep them quite low down. But but we're looking for a hard edge along this edge here, and a sort of slightly turning over there. So work this over and clean this all up. I've cleaned up in here, so that's made the claws, the paw, stand out much better. I've come round here, so I've got a bit of a step there, so I've pushed more wood away here. All I've got eventually, will be something like a little eye here for the mole. I've taken wood back round here into the flower, and I've generally shaped those into the positions I want them. This wood here and back here, that's going to I'm going to have to tackle that from the back once we take this off. So this is a bit of back cutting we'll have to do. But this is the stage we should get it to, fairly clean, and we're ready to put in details such as the eye, finish off the flower, and so on. I'm going to put in the eye of the mole a bit bigger than it is really, because this is a children's door sign. So I've made a little circle here, and I found a gouge that will fit that. I'm going to stab that in around like this, pushing in, shunting around, and I'm going to push that down, get myself a little shadow like that. A little bit down here. There we go. And then let's see, something about the nose. We'll give him a bit of a nose here. Just making a groove in there. Should be enough to do that. Right over the top. Nice big moly nose. And then again, because it's a little caricature for a child, I'm going to try and put a little mouth in here. I don't think they really have it, but this is sort of smiley mouth. I'm going to put a cut like this, and I'm going to follow it up with a cut like that. Yeah, show like that. Yep. And I'll stab that end in to make it a bit stronger. So that's essentially what I'm going to do for the mole. Clear that up a little bit. I've added little cuts here to give the nails or the claws right on the end of this hand that the mole has. So now turning to the flower, I'm going to put a central little button in the middle. We've seen this flower before. We've seen it in the Bramble Cottage video. It's a very simple sort of flower we're going to do. Stab this in here and take some wood around it. So we have our, so this bit in the middle is going to stand upright. We just round that over. Excuse me in the way a minute. So I've got a little button in the middle, which I can flatten a bit more. And then what I'm going to do is going to divide this bit up, this leaf up into say 5. I'm going to put a cut here. Not to bump into that. Perhaps a cut down here. You know, and so on. Radiating out. And then I'm going to round over this corner and this corner and define the outside of the flower like that. and I'll work my way all the way around. So I get a nice sharp edge, like so. Imagine me going around there now. And then I'll just come in like so. So I'll be doing that sort of idea to the flower. And then the leaf here, I will probably just do something like a V groove down the middle, something simple like that. Putting it more to the far side so we get more of a perspective. Perhaps I can just dress that side over there a little bit. And then some cuts like this, keeping it quite simple. So I work my way around this, I do the same here, and do the same here, and sort of finish it off on this side over here, like that. Now the outline at the back of these flowers is slightly undercut, but don't push all the way through because that'll splinter the wood off. We'll tackle that later from the back. But just cut anywhere in this carving where it's coming to the back, just start that cut off and then we'll deal with it later. Okay, so turning to the eyes now of the rabbit. I've shaped the forehead a little bit, so I've got this sort of thing going on. I'm going to make them quite big, again childlike, so I'm going to cut this around like that there. Take a big cut out here. There's the top bit. And then I'm going to come down quite big, swing this around. I'm going to have to switch to a smaller tool in a moment, but you can see what's happening. Let me just get another tool. So I've got a small number 3 here, and I can push that into there. So round this over and make a bit of a shadow in here, so this can come up that way a little bit, and it can come this way a little bit. So there's a bit of a up and over thing going on here. So particular shadows in the corner here and here. A little bit of backwards and forwards, tinkering away. I was struggling a little bit to find a tool that would get right in there. That one will do it. So I want this eye to be sort of round and smooth and big and strong, because I think that's important for a child's perception of animals. They have these big eyes, see? Especially at the top. So I'll probably take a bit of this off here. Let's make that a little bit softer. There you go, so something like that. Just clean that up and then we can move on to the mouth and the nose. I'm going to take a 4-pointed punch like this and just add a few of these over this background. Makes it a little bit more interesting. Fairly random. So I'm going to work my way all the way along with this punch. And then I'm going to get some rifflers. This is a riffler. It's a little rasp on a stick sort of thing, and I'm going to work this surface, and what this will do is, besides consolidating all those cuts, it's going to give a very lightly textured surface. I'm not sure you can see this very well, but there are lots of fine little lines. I'm just going to go over the surface with this. But if you didn't do that, then you would have to make sure that this was a nice clean surface. I wouldn't sand it. I don't think it looks good if it's shiny. But I think some sort of riffler, some sort of rasp over the surface, as if it's fur, it works very well. So these are different shapes, this sort of shape. To get into the various parts, there's another little shape we can use in here. So I'm going to work over all the rabbit and the mole, and then very last of all I'm going to take very fine sandpaper, 320, could be 240 but 320, and I'm literally going to just wipe it like this. I'm going to make sure there's nothing sharp sticking out. It's all a little bit tactile. So just a wipe like that. That's all it will take at the end, and then that'll be done, ready for waxing.